Okay, I'd like to get going if everyone's okay with that. Uh, so I'll start by welcoming you, and I'm going to call on Lois to do our land acknowledgement in just a second. We've switched the agenda around in just a little bit. We've moved down the national update and moved up talk about the Environment Week and the fall action to the top of the agenda. Pardon me. So Lois, would you please give us our land acknowledgement for today?
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you. So I'm grateful to live in Chief Dry Geese territory, the unceded homelands of the Yellowknives Dene First Nation, and more recently, the North Slave Métis. The Yellowknives were known among settlers as the Copper Indians for using copper tools in pre-contact times. Yellowknife, where I live, is located within Chief Dry Geese territory on the shores of Great Slave Lake. Yellowknife is named for the Yellowknives, but among the Yellowknives themselves and others, Yellowknife also carries the name Somboquet, which means money place. And it was named Money Place because of our mining history. Today, Yellowknife has a population of 22,000 and is home to Indigenous peoples from throughout the North. In fact, about a quarter of the population has Aboriginal Indigenous ancestry. Chief Dry Geese territory is the meeting place of Treaty 8, which was signed in the North in 1900, and Treaty 11 that was signed in 1921. Everyone living here is a treaty person. So each of us carries the responsibilities of a treaty person, and that being to know and understand the treaty and to live in harmony and mutual respect in sharing and caring for each other and looking after the land and the natural world. As a treaty person, I have been given or chosen to take responsibility as a land and water protector and a social justice activist. I discharge these treaty responsibilities in three main ways. The first way is that I am always holding governments and those in power to account for perpetually caring for the toxic giant mine arsenic trioxide. There's actually 239,000 tons of arsenic trioxide stored underground at the mine site. And it's my responsibility to make sure that that never gets near the water or land or any living thing. The second responsibility is that I always have to speak up for the water. We live downstream from the tar sands, and our water is affected by upstream activities. And thirdly, it's my responsibility to fully advocate for the full implementation of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, the TRC calls to action, the murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls, calls for justice, the RCAP recommendations, and all the other recommendations and advice that we are given to fulfill our responsibilities as treaty people. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. It's uh, really interesting to hear that perspective, but particularly from Yellowknife, where I really don't have any background on the indigenous population up there. And one of the things that popped into my head while you were talking was I know that there is a list somewhere of 5,000 toxic waste sites in Canada that have not been cleaned up. And that one that you're talking about, the giant mine, is one of them. So,
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility, and in the history here, the Yellowknives have suffered deaths as a result of that toxic site. So we must never let that happen again. Thank you.
thank you. Okay. I'm going to move on now. So the next thing we want to talk about was the Environment Week action and the fall action. And I do have some slides to share. And I'm getting better at handling these buttons. Takes me less time, but I'm still a bit clunky. So Seeders for Climate is open to all generations, but one of the things we want to do is get more and more people talking about climate. And what are they going to talk about when they talk about climate? I'm just going to give you one example here, okay? Because I've been hearing an awful lot lately about the renewables revolution. And I think the fact of what's going on with Iran right now, with the Strait of Hormuz blocked, no oil flowing, 20% of the world's oil supply not being able to move, is having a huge impact on countries all over the world. We tend to be rather focused on what's going on in Canada, but the renewable energy revolution is going on around the world at a very rapid pace because once you get either solar or wind, you don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to pay for oil to make those work. They depend on just the sun and the wind, and everything that comes out is electricity, is energy that can be used. So it's tremendous when you hear about Pakistan, for example. The grid operators in Pakistan didn't understand why the total electricity consumption on the grid was going down and down and down. And what they found out was people in small villages everywhere had been going out and buying these really cheap solar panels and putting up their own little solar farms and power, giving all the power for the villages out of these solar panels. So they didn't require the electricity from the grid. Amazing story. Then there was another story that I saw where the demand for oil and gas in Africa was going down. And people are saying, well, why is that happening? And as it turns out, all these people who drive very small vehicles were switching their very small vehicles over to electric vehicles. And when you're driving an electric vehicle, you use electricity, not oil and gas. And so the demand for oil and gas in Africa was going down. And it just goes back to this point of when we don't use oil and gas anymore, they won't make it. So the quicker that we can switch over to renewables for electricity, for everything that is powered in our economy, from our heat in our homes, our cooling in our homes, our transportation, the quicker that they will stop making new oil and gas. So that's something that we can really talk about, right? It's a very positive thing because it's much less expensive to be able to buy electricity than it is oil and gas for anything that you operate, whether it's your home or whether it's your vehicles. I must tell this story. One of my nephews travels for business. Travels in business. He was paying almost $900 a month for gasoline. He bought an electric vehicle, and what he is saving now, he can make a car payment. So it's self financing almost for him. And so when people hear that the only maintenance you need to do is get your tires changed and maybe the brakes aligned every once in a while, but otherwise electricity is so inexpensive in comparison to oil and gas. It's a big motivator. The other thing I wanted to mention is last week I was out for a walk, and what did I see? I saw a single person electric vehicle. And I thought, wow, well, personally, I can't go out and I can't afford to go out and buy a $50,000 or $60,000 new car, electric vehicle. But I thought, gee, I wonder what a single person vehicle costs. So I looked and I was surprised to find that there were actually 20 different models. And the base price was around $19,000 US. So that's a lot more affordable. So it just opens up for discussion with people that you can get into the electric vehicle market if there's only one or two of you driving around for a lot less. I don't know how good they are in winter, but it was sure boogieing along during the nice weather. So that's kind of my introduction. We have these wonderful events coming up. One is kind of building on the other. The spring event, we want people to start talking about climate, and there's so much to talk about. There is so much to talk about. That's just one example. And as we get people talking, we hope that they're going to start expressing those opinions more as we build into the fall action and get people to pressure their governments to do more faster as regards to climate. And that's where all of you come in, because each of you are involved to at some level in organizing an event across Canada. And at that point, I get to move on to the next slide. There we go. So at the end of last year, we had more than 90, I think we had 93 different locations across Canada. And we're trying to get as many of those locations up for this coming environmental week. And we'd like to actually grow it a little bit more to have 100 different locations across Canada. However, you probably belong to one of those blue or gray stars, and we'd like to get all of you involved in making sure that something is going on Environmental Week. So the reason for this, as I said, is conversation starts. People see other people talking about climate some more. They develop some confidence that it's something that they want to talk about, even with all the other stuff that's going on in the world, all the wars, all the affordability issues, the housing issues, everything else that's going on. They get the confidence to start talking about climate again, even if it's only a bit of a conversation, but they're going to be talking about it. And out of that, we get more political action, which is how this culminates in the fall for us. So we're trusted, we're connected, and we're civilly engaged, and we vote. And goodness knows there's lots of elections coming up. So we want to be able to use our sway to get people to talk about it to their elected officials, for their candidates, and get more action. Other people feel less alone because we're trusted sources. Misinformation loses ground, and goodness knows there's lots of misinformation out there. And leadership becomes safer because if everybody's talking about it, nobody can be pointed out. We're not talking about being louder. We're just talking about making our concern visible. So we have some very nice pictures here. So the June 1st to 7th, the national mobilization is about Let's Talk Climate. We are looking for you to start telling us what your events are, even if you just have preliminary ideas of what you're planning on doing right now. We still have roughly 7 weeks, maybe a little bit more, towards Environment Week, and we hope to hear more and more that you're building just on an idea of what you want to do to having actual plans in place. So please let us know, because based on the survey, we're not hearing, we're only hearing from maybe 20 of the 90 odd locations what they're doing so far. So we'd like to hear a lot more. And then in the September 14th to 18th timeframe, we're hoping to have federal engagement, but I'm going to just kind of point out here that this is a year for municipal elections across Canada. I have a list of them a little bit later, and I'll point out to you, we understand that you may not be so focused on the federal level, but if you can, please do. So the municipal elections, New Brunswick, May the 11th, Yellowknife, October the 19th, and I understand that other communities have different dates. BC, October the 17th, Ontario, October the 26th, Manitoba, October the 28th, and PEI, November the 2nd, and we have the Quebec provincial election going on as well. So as I said, federal focus, but if you need to delve into the municipal or provincial levels, that's understandable. And I'm going to stop there for now. I'm not seeing anybody raising their hand with any questions or anything, so Does anybody have any comments on that? Not so far. I must have done an awesome job. Yeah, please go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, since energy is under provincial jurisdiction, I think that we should also approach our MLA and MPP.
Okay. And there is a federal role in that as well. Another one of the things that I know you're in New Brunswick, Ann, but one of the awesome things I saw recently was the fact that all the wind turbines off the coast of Nova Scotia could potentially offer 25% of Canada's electricity needs. That's amazing. Just incredible. Susan, you have a comment? Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I just said, sorry, I was unmuted. I still got my shirt on from this morning. We were doing the MP office monthly. We're doing a monthly little rally there, and then we usually leave a handout with the MP when we leave. So I still got my shirt on. So yeah, the question I have is like, I'm not a good poster maker, not good at all. But I loved how we did last year. There was a lot of collaboration and sample posters through the website, sort of like we could just sort of plug in our location and date and then just, is there anything on that happening for National Environmental Week? Anything started for a poster?
You must have been reading the agenda.
Oh,
It's coming up. Yeah, we're
oh,
going to
sorry. I've
discuss
been
that.
eating my dinner here and though I had this thing
That's
off.
okay.
So thank you.
Show us your T-shirt again. Yes, way to go. Thank you. Go ahead, Lois.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that the Yellowknife Group, we're participating in Earth Week, and having an intergenerational fireside chat on how to break the silence. And one of the suggestions out of one of the Reclimate webinars was to create a zine to facilitate discussions about climate and making the connection with social justice. So that's kind of where we're going, is having that intergenerational chat. And one of the Makerspace group actually in Yellowknife has offered to host a workshop to make a zine. So we might be able to have a zine to share with people for the June mobilization.
What's a zine, if they don't mind me asking before I
A,
mute myself?
a zine is a handmade magazine
Ah,
that tackles all the well, sends the messages that you want and does it visually as well as with words. Yeah. Yeah.
go ahead, Avril.
Thanks a lot, Dave. I heard you talking at the outset of what you were saying about a lot of transitioning away from fossil fuels. I know that Seniors for Climate also was one of the sign-ons to the letter that has now got Canada involved in the Santa Marta conference. So I just thought I would post the link to that conference in the chat for everyone. It's happening 9 days from now. And many of the things that might come out from that international conference on transitioning away from fossil fuels might be language and conversations that we can use as we move into June. So that's 9 days from now, and the world will be watching Colombia.
Thank you, Avril. Indeed, we will. Okay. I'm going to go on now, and I'm going to be calling on Dylan in just a second. Dylan is leading our comms team right now, and he has an update for us. So I would like to ask Dylan if you could deliver that update.
Absolutely. Great to be here with you folks and good to see many familiar faces. Hi. So there's a few things to update you on and had some questions I was hoping to have a little discussion about to inform our communications work moving forward with both the Environment Week actions and the Fall Week of Action. So to start with, we've been doing some significant updates on the website. So if you haven't seen it yet, there are many new updates live there, and would encourage you to take a peek. So what we've done so far is updated the homepage and the main menu, streamlining them to make it hopefully easier to find the things that you're looking for the organizing that you're doing, as well as for supporters to find what they're looking for in terms of what Seniors for Climate is up to. There are also several new pages that have been added. There's now on the main menu, you'll see there's a take action section that it has a campaigns page, which is currently focused on the work around breaking through the climate silence. There's a page that has information about the week of action, including for joining and or hosting an event, the promo toolkit, an overview of the week of action and poster and the event map, and we'll add other relevant things as they become available. And in terms of the Take Action page, it's now a bit of a hub for recent digital actions and petitions, resources, workshops, the event map, and whatever else might come up that could be useful there. I do see at least one hand up. Would it make sense for me to take a question or two now, or just roll through and take them after? I'm fine either way.
Your choice, Dylan.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Lori.
I was going to say thank you very much for updating the website. It's much cleaner and more engaging and easier to read. One question I had just this morning was there are really great graphics that are on Instagram, and I can't post them from my computer, and I'm old, so I find using my phone not easy. And so if I'm able to go to a folder that has those graphics, I can then download them and upload them into Instagram or LinkedIn or Blue Sky or whatever. But otherwise, I can't really access them, and a screenshot makes it so that there's things on the picture. So a folder of these kinds of social media graphics would be really, really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, we can definitely look into that. Yeah, and in terms of the other info about the website updates, there's also now some updates to the Allies page, including a form for organizations to endorse right on that page for anyone who's doing outreach to other organizations. And so that's what's done so far. Next steps include adding information about the fall events. We're looking into adding a news and analysis section, which would include blogs, e-blasts, press releases, and that kind of thing. Updating the events and resource page listings, and sprucing up the visuals with some more graphics, possibly some carousels, which for folks who aren't familiar, it's just when there's a few different things scrolling by, which gives the site a nice interactive feel, and also helps it be less cluttered. And we're looking into possibly doing a new theme at some point, which means just a slightly different overall like design look and feel. Structurally, it wouldn't change much from that, but it might change in terms of fonts and colors and that kind of thing. But that's something we're going to explore. We haven't looked at concretely yet. Other than the website, promo is underway for the week of action. There's already some things that have been posted to socials, and we'll be prepping an e-blast soon. Now that the more substantive part of the website updates are done, I'm going to be turning my attention to media skills training, including toolkit and workshops. So would love your thoughts on both ideal timing for that. We're I think probably looking at sometime in May, and also what key things might be helpful to include in that in terms of media skills, just so we make sure we're addressing the key needs that you all have, and looking at whether it makes sense to do something of a mass organizing meeting to bring in more folks in May for building the week of action. And that's sort of the snapshot of where things are at with the comms work at the moment, and would definitely invite all of you, once you've had a chance to take a closer look at the website, if there are other key things that are not there or are not obvious where they may be on the new layout. Please do let us know, because this is one of the key purposes of the website, is to support your organizing. So if there's stuff that's missing, we want to know so that we can make those updates as soon as we can. And yeah, I think that's it from me for now.
Thank you very much, Dylan. So just to pick up on a couple of things that you mentioned, uh, could would people mind putting into the chat when you would like to have the traditional media workshop, and if there's anything you would like to see covered in it? That would be very helpful. So Dylan was talking about May. Do you want early May, later May, and anything you want to have covered? Yes, please go ahead, Lois.
Yeah, I was wondering if we've totally abandoned Earth Week. Like we have, as I say, we haven't here in Yellowknife, because those are our relationships. We have, in the past, we have worked closely with an environmental organization and, other kind of intergenerational groups. So and that's the reason that we made the decision to stay with Earth Week. So if we haven't abandoned it nationally, then I think maybe Dylan, nice to see you, Dylan. We should probably recognize that somewhere on the website. That's all I would say.
We will definitely attend to it during Earth Day itself. And like personally, I have 2 or 3 different Earth Day events that I'm going out to.
Yeah.
I just want to explain that after our spring event last year, based on the survey results, people felt that it was too early and that there was still cold and stuff. It was difficult for them to get to Earth Day events. And we had that discussion, and that's why we decided to move it to the Canadian Environment Week. Since that time, it's come up in discussion a number of times that people favor Earth Day. So maybe after this one, we'll have another discussion about which one should we do. But that kind of explains how we got here, Lois.
Yeah.
And based on the resources we have available, we can't really support 2. So we're going with Environment Week this year. Okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patricia.
Lois, here in Kamloops, BC, we're doing something for Earth Week because there is an event already planned. It's the 50th anniversary for this Rally for Peace, Social Justice, and Environment. So we're going to have a conversation during that week. And then we'll do something probably pretty low key in the June 1st to 7th. So there's just to let you know. And Lois, I've heard a lot about you, so from someone anyway. So it's really nice to see you online. So
Thank you, Patricia. I'm going to be calling on Pat in just a second. One of the questions that we've had frequently so far is what type of financial assistance is Seniors for Climate going to be able to provide us? So Pat, would you please tell people? You're on mute, Pat.
There are a few other hands up, but we can deal with those after.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a banner blocking my, okay, there, that's better.
As far as last year we did what we were calling micro grants. It was the $200 sort of for each organization if you sent in receipts. And we will be doing that again for the June event. So what we need you to do is save receipts and then send them in, and we'll send you the information as to where to do that next month. But basically, you know, we can reimburse you for $200, but we do need the receipts. And this year we're asking you also to keep track of how and let us know how much you're spending. Because we do know that people fish in their own pockets and pay for things. So if you could keep track of that, and this is basically, we're going to use that for grants to let people know that we are spending all this in-kind money that isn't showing up. It isn't going through our books, but it's certainly being spent. So if you can keep track of that, we will be getting out a form for you to deal with that later. So there is money available for the spring. Hopefully we will get this grant. We're applying for lots of grants, and hopefully we get those so that we will also have some micro grants for the fall. But at this point, we just have we just have the budget for the spring. So just to let you know, keep track, be prepared to send that in, and we'll e-transfer you the money just like we did last year. Okay, back
Thank
to
you.
David.
Thank you, Pat.
One more thing. We're keeping track of money, but we also want to keep track of hours. So we need ballparks as to how many hundreds of volunteer hours everybody's putting in. It doesn't have to be exact. We don't need diaries and all that stuff, but we would like some kind of general idea of how much time you're putting into this project. You and all the rest of your crew are putting into these events and beyond these events, just general meetings, planning meetings, all that stuff. So if you could, we need a ballpark, because this year we're guessing. Next year we'd like to be less of a guess. Okay, that's
Thanks,
it.
Pat. And just to add on to what Pat's saying, we don't want to burden locations that have one organizer. So that gets back to like a ballpark. That's fine. And I also want to say, you are such a valuable group. So just based on guesses this year, based on having one organizer in each location, because we want to be really conservative. And I don't know what the dollar per hour rate was, but last year, organizers, just one organizer per location, contributed just a little bit shy of $200,000 in effort. So that's a significant thing. And you know, when you tell the people that we're applying to grants for that we had almost $200,000 in effort based on very conservative thing, it's an impressive thing. Okay, I'm sorry I missed some questions. Susan, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I'm trying to remember now what I was going to ask about. So you asked about some monies if there was. Oh, I was going to say about Earth Week. That's what it was. I mean, SCAN is very active in Earth Week, so we're doing Earth Week a table. They have Earth Fest here. They have it on the 25th on Saturday in a mall with a lot of other groups get together, and we have a table there. We have but on the 21st, because I've enjoyed the SCAN video chats and stuff we've been having, you know, I had planned a couple months ago on the 21st to have one of those here in London on Zoom. So I've arranged a Zoom account time at 7 on Monday, put out a flyer about it, you know, invite a bunch of people. We'll see how many show up, and just to talk about how you feel about climate change, what's bothering you, what you're, you know, try to waylay some fears, or just how to deal with the fears and all of that. We're not having a speaker. We're just this chat room. It's just a chat thing, the cafe thing. So we're doing that Monday or the 21st, a Tuesday. And then they're having a movie that's screening here in London, but it's not through SCAN, or it's It's about how the wars affect the climate change, all the war machine, stuff like that. I can't think of the title of it, but it's being played by Climate Action London on the 22nd. And also the 21st, another group is putting on. It's being played twice here in London. So there's and of course we have Ford rallies against Ford here. We had one in March. We're having one on Saturday the 25th as well. And there's something going on every week up until May for that, up to May Day, because May Days comes in May 1st, right?
Yeah.
The original day for Labor Day across the world.
You're going to be busy.
Yeah, it's a very busy time. But the big one that I'm really looking forward to is the Ontario Health Coalition train down to Queen's Park here. We're going to bring rally there on May 28th, and we're all going on trains and the GO trains, and so we're going to end up at the downtown Toronto and by the Union Station having a rally there, and then walk up to the a march kind of thing. So I like marches, so I'm going to that. Just booked my seat on the train today. But
Awesome.
there's lots of stuff going on, right? It always is in the spring, right?
Lots to talk about.
Thanks.
Thank you, Susan. Go ahead, Penny.
I just wanted to mention that here in Sackville, we thought that we didn't have to give up Earth Day because we are planning to do an event in June 7th with all the New Brunswick groups. So we're just doing a demonstration in opposition to the gas plant that's being proposed just outside Sackville. And we're going to have a tea party at a local cafe and climate chat. We just thought we certainly felt we wanted to acknowledge Earth Day.
Recognize it. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Penny. Go ahead, Tylene.
Hi, I am so excited to hear about the budget and budget estimates. I was wondering, you said, Pat, last year it was $200. Are you saying you think it'll be that much, or you have no idea until because we're just, we're trying to budget, because booking things now means we have to pay for them, right? So we're kind of stuck, right, until we know our budget a little bit better. So do you happen to know?
We definitely, there will be $200 per location.
Okay. Wonderful. That's awesome. Okay. And then I just wanted to also mention that the receipts, yes, I love that, to send them in and get reimbursements. The only thing is that the majority of our costs are going to be honoraria. And I shouldn't say the majority. And oftentimes I've found in the past, Indigenous individuals would like cash. So it isn't like something you're going to a store and buying that you get a receipt, right? Like even if you e-transfer them, they don't give you a receipt. You know what I mean? So it's not really a transaction, it's a gift.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And I will get back to you because I think we need to look into that.
Okay.
Because we do the same thing here, and you're right, it's cash.
Yeah.
And they really don't want to sign anything. Thank you very much.
Right. And I don't feel comfortable asking them to do that either, right? I'm just so happy to have that. And the other thing I was going to say, just on the topic of budget, is that all of the events we do, it seems now, are in collaboration with other groups, and then we pool our money. And one example that all of you could check into is for our kids. I don't know about, I think across Canada, but for sure here in Alberta, they are doing something so similar to us. It's called Families Talk Climate, which is just like our Breaking Through the Climate Silence. And we received a generous amount of funding. They did, like for our kids group that we're working together with. So if that helps anybody budget-wise, and also to get more hands on deck and to get more resources. And I don't know if you even want to check into it as the steering team, if you want to check with them to collaborate. So yeah, just thought I'd share that. Thank you for everything.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Tylene. So somebody asked about the poster, and so Eric is going to be showing us the poster in just a second. He also has been working on the toolkit, and he has some of that to show us. So Eric, if you're ready, would you please speak to the poster and the toolkit?
Hi there, David. Thank you. Can everyone hear and see me?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, my internet was just being slow for a second there. So I will get to sharing the toolkit. As per usual, with our actions this year, we will be providing you a few different resources that can be customized to your group, or you can email me to customize them. So I'm going to start with a quick walkthrough of the toolkit. We're going to look at the poster really quickly, and then I'll show where on the updated website you can find this toolkit. So starting with the toolkit, I'll skip right to some of the important links. We do have at the beginning, there's an About Us section that has a bit of information both about Seniors for Climate and about Breakthrough the Climate Silence. So if you're ever looking for text or language to kind of inspire some writing or social media posts you would like to do, this can be a good place to quickly find that. That will likely be updated a bit as we go. Some useful links. Very similar to last year. The toolkit, as per usual, is a work in progress. It's a Google Doc, so I can make a change to it tomorrow, and then that change will apply to the link that everyone has if they save the link. So there are things that we're still waiting on. We're going to be updating the flyer we use, so that will be coming soon. But then there's just useful links that I hope everyone is aware of. Like we have a few tips for organizers, some ideas for public actions, just stuff like that if you're looking for inspiration. But I will skip to the most important stuff, which is the printable assets we're sharing. So as we always have, we have a major poster for the event. So there's a PDF poster. You can download at this link. There's a JPEG poster, just depending on your preferences, how large or small the file size is. You can see a little preview here, but we'll take a bigger look at the full-size poster in a moment. And then there's also a blank version of the poster, if people can see that. It's really just the text at the bottom of the main poster is gone, so you can easily add your own text there if you have any access to a program that can edit a JPEG, which is most of them. Canva, certainly, you can load a JPEG into that and just layer text right on top of it. I think even programs like Paint, you can do those things. But of course, if you don't have access to an imager or poster editor, you can always send me an email. My email is linked a few places in this toolkit. So if you don't have the opportunity to edit it yourself, feel free to email me. I can add your text to it and even make some other small modifications to the poster. So no worries if you don't have someone on your team who can make those kind of changes. I'm also quickly going to be going over our postcards. We always offer a postcard each year based on the poster we do, kind of stylistically similar. So we have that again this year. That has, I saw a question in the comments briefly about why there's a blank space on the back. That's a place where you can either by hand, once the postcards are printed off, or again, using some kind of editor, you can add your own text to that. That can be your own demands, or however you plan on using these postcards, there's that space for your own text. But of course, similar to the poster, if you want to email me, I can add a formal text in there as well. On the postcard front, we're still offering the wildfire postcards. Those were extremely popular last fall. So we're presenting those again. They come in 4 locations, Algonquin Park, Banff, Tremblant, and Whistler. So you can download those here, or you can email me. Last year, we printed off some for groups, and I think it's very likely that we will be doing that again. So yeah, let me know. And then, of course, we have our banners, flags, T-shirt designs consistent to previous years. We might be changing some of those images a bit. We've been modifying the Seniors for Climate logo at people's request. And it's a very small modification. You can just see some people requested that the hair on the woman they left be a little bit more modern and engaging. So that may be adopted across other things too, but that's still a conversation to be had. So I'm going to quickly jump over to the poster itself. I can make this larger in a moment, but I thought it'd be better to kind of be able to see it. So I'll zoom in now. So yeah, this is closely following our Breakthrough the Climate Silence theme. You can see these characters from our very first logos are engaged in a climate dialogue reflecting on the planet. There's the text here, drawing on a lot of the amazing materials from the communications team, describing a bit about what it's all about. And then, of course, we have a link to where people can go to learn more and the dates to the Canadian Environment Week. So this is our default poster. If people want to use this one with that exact text, absolutely, like, go for it. The customizable one is just an option if your group would like to say its own things, like specific dates, locations, anything like that. And now that I've shown that, I'm going to quickly address how you can find this toolkit because, of course, it's very important that you're able to get your hands on it. For one thing, when we send out this post-meeting email, I will have a link to the toolkit. So if you're here, you're going to receive that email, so you can keep an eye out for it there. But if you're going via the website, if you go to the website homepage, there's this take action option on the top. The top bar has been consolidated a bit, so it's a little bit fewer options, easier to navigate. So if you go to take action, there's Week of Action 2026. So all you have to do is click on that, and then Week of Action Toolkit is right here. It's this button right at the top. You don't even have to scroll to it. And yeah, if you click on that, it will bring you to the toolkit, which we will maybe be making some small changes to over time. So now that I've shown all that, I'm going to stop sharing. I imagine there will be a question area for later, just more general questions. So I'd be happy to answer some questions then. I'm also keeping an eye on the chat though. So if there's questions in the chat, I'll endeavor to answer those. So yeah, thank you everyone.
And thank you, Eric. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions right now, so I will go on to the next item, and that's the plans of some of our different locations. So we're very fortunate to have Anita Payne talking about the plan for Perth, Judy Wyatt talking about Kingston, and Tylene Appel talking about Edmonton. So Anita, would you mind telling us what Perth has lined up this year?
Hello.
Hi, Anita. Go ahead.
Maybe I
We hear
need
you.
to turn lights on. It's getting dark. So we've been doing the Friday demonstrations for quite some time when we're at Highway 7 in Perth, and we will have our banner and a whole bunch of signs that we've been collecting. And basically, we do that over the noon hour, and we have signs that say honk for climate action. So we get a lot of positive feedback and some not so positive feedback from passersby. And we're also in discussions about having a climate conversation. So we haven't arranged that yet, but I like the idea of inviting younger people to speak to us, or shared discussion. So that's in the planning stages.
Thank you, Anita. And Highway 7 in your section of the woods is on the Trans-Canada Highway. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's basically on the way between Peterborough and Ottawa.
That was one of the original back in October the 1st, 2024. We were thinking of trying to get as many groups along the Trans-Canada Highway as we could, and yours was one of them. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to go to Kingston now, and Judy Wyatt. Judy, would you tell us what Kingston has planned?
Well, our plans are very, very well developed. We are having something we're calling EarthFest Kingston 2026, and this is sponsored by SCAN, Seniors for Climate Action Now. And at this point, we have invited 73 different groups or organizations to participate in our event. It's going to take place in a park right across from City Hall that we have booked. We paid for the insurance. We found a sound system and a sound technician for the day. Our booths that we've invited are different categories. We've got many environment groups, civic groups, recycling, arts, children's booths, climate booths, and musical performers. So we're well underway. And I don't know what else you'd like to hear. I can tell you about different booths. What would you like to hear?
I see that Ricky has her hand raised. Ricky, do you have a question? You're muted, Ricky.
No, it wasn't a question, it was a comment, which is if you're looking for having climate conversations, particularly with younger children, last year we worked with For Our Kids to experiment with climate conversations with university age kids, high school age kids, young kids. And we produced a toolkit, which is on the For Our Kids website. So if anybody is thinking about having conversations with particular age groups of grandchildren, that's a good resource to look at.
Thank you. That's great. That is great.
And Ricky, Climate Legacy also did some climate conversations cards. Is that the same thing, or is that something different?
That's a different thing. But if you look on the Climate Legacy website, you can find the climate conversation cards. They're a series of questions that people have developed that are really non-threatening. And so they're really nice for people who are new to climate issues and don't really know how comfortable they feel with climate issues. So it's a really good resource, and it's been very popular with people.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Judith. I would like to spend more time hearing about your booths, but I've got to watch the clock. And Lydia has a question, and Muriel.
Hi, Judith. I have a question regarding cost of insurance.
$48.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. Okay.
Where did you get it?
I can send, who should I send the information to about the insurance? There's an insurer. I mean, our event is taking place from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock on a day in June. And who should I send the insurance info to?
Send it to me.
In the chat.
To you, Dave?
Yeah, please. And I'll make sure it gets out on the follow-up note.
Okay.
Thank you, Judy. Go ahead, Muriel.
Hi, Judy, I just want to say hi to you. I'm Muriel Jarvis. The Earth Fest, you familiar with the process of Diane Fitzel? And she had contacted me with regards to the Earth Fest logo.
Yes, Muriel, I know of you very, very well with my...
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled to hear that Kingston, Ontario is going to be putting on an Earth Fest.
I know, and this is Muriel, our sister organizer from New Brunswick. Yes,
Yeah.
I know all about you. And you've been very, very helpful to us. And we've taken on your inspiration, and we've got so many booths, so much commitment. It's quite overwhelming. And if it would be helpful for people in the future to see a template for how we began, and letters of invitation and logos and whatever, we can talk about that. Thank you, Muriel. You've been great.
Well, when I did a presentation to one of these organizing meetings a few weeks ago, I tried to push the idea of EarthFest becoming a Seniors for Climate event all across the country.
I know you did, and we're now here, and we're calling it Kingston 2026 because you know what that means. There will be 2027.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to add one thing. I'm very grateful to hear the advice about collecting hours. I got suggestions too about how to apply for a grant in the future. And I wasn't told about how to track hours, but what I was advised to do was to create a survey. And I've got a copy of it that was shared with me by somebody who's had very successful events in Kingston and has used the data to collect, to get grants. But the suggestion is that you want to keep track of the number of people who come, and you want to you want to track the demographics, and you want to have a short questionnaire. And so what we're going to be doing is having volunteers to take this survey. It can be done on paper, on an iPad. They're going to be identified by colorful pinnies, and they will reward the people for taking the survey by giving them a button to wear. So we'll know who has already taken part in the survey. And this information we can compile and then use to apply for grants in the future.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Judith. And again, I'm just watching the clock, so I'd like to move on and ask Tylene to tell us about what's going on in Edmonton.
I would love to tell you about what's going on in Edmonton. Just so you know, I posted in the chat the insurance that we get for our Edmonton events. I don't know if it's different inside or outside, but like at a community league for a whole afternoon event, it costs us $8 through Duo, D-U-U-O, and it's through cooperators. So I don't know if that's an option in all parts of Canada or not. But anyways, our Environmental Week events, we actually have a cluster of events. We're organizing, like I'm with SCAN Edmonton and SCAN Pan Canadian. So we're organizing, and we have a Seniors for Climate committee because it is kind of confusing for people to understand SCAN and Seniors for Climate. And then we also have an Indigenous Solidarity Committee. And between those two committees, we're planning these events. So we have big things going on for breaking through the climate silence, lots of climate conversation opportunity events. So the first one we're having is Friday, June 5th. And there's a co-op called Earth's Refillery Co-op. And then our SCAN Edmonton group together are going to be hosting a climate cafe. So great conversations going on there. And that's SCAN Edmonton has climate cafes. So there are people already doing that through SCAN. Saturday, June 6th, we are hosting the film screening of Earth's Greatest Enemy. And we're doing that in partnership with Climate Justice Edmonton. We're doing that at the Metro Theatre in Edmonton. And we're also partnering with other local or Alberta organizations, Keepers of the Water, Common Horizon, Edmonton Youth for Climate, Palestinian Solidarity, National Farmers Union, Edmonton Peace Council. And Abby Martin, the film creator, she is going to be available via Zoom for question and answer at the end. So we are hoping to have great discussion at the end. And that film directly links war, U.S. militarism with environmental and social destruction. And then on the 3rd is our actual big event, Sunday, June 7th. We've named our event Reconnect. We're working together with Edmonton River Valley Conservation Coalition, For Our Kids, and Touch Grass Club, and then of course SCAN Edmonton. And the idea is to reconnect to land and nature, to community and conversation, to tradition and song, to caring and creating, to climate action and cultural conservation. So just really briefly, the event info is we're having it in the Edmonton River Valley at the Alfred Savage Center, both in the beautiful facility and outside. And there's like trees and the river right there. And so it's embedded in nature in the middle of the city. It's all going to be interactive, hands-on, engaging activities to promote connection to the land, water, and each other. We're going to have indoor activities, crafts, trivia, native plant sales, reflection and guided vision building, and then outdoor activities, drumming, storytelling, round dance, interactive and guided nature walks. And the idea is that together we can tackle climate change by fostering strong relationships with the land and with each other. And I have to say that collaboration is key. Because when we collaborate, we're able to have many hands make lighter work, more contacts with more organizations to more people and other organizations, more funding because we can pool our money and our resources, and more talents and experiences and areas of expertise. And we start off with a steering team that has 1 or 2 people from each organization so that we can move quickly at the beginning. And then we bring in other members of our organizations once plans get more set. And we find that works really well for the best use of time. And I will stop there.
Thank you very much, Tylene. Some good suggestions there. and great to hear all the details of what you have going on. It's really rolling, and I have this picture in my mind of the site that you were talking about, and it's so pastoral, and I think, yeah, sounds wonderful. Okay. So we have a couple of locations, we have 3 locations that are well on their way, and we know that there are others out there. So I just wanted to mention to you that we have initialized the map of locations across Canada again. We've saved the history of what you did last time, and we're hoping that you will send us in the details so that we can put them on the map so that anybody who's looking for an event to attend will be able to find you. But we're also, this is going to be two maps in one. You're going to be able to get on the UN World Environmental Week map, because anything that you submit, we're also going to add to the UN environmental map. So lots of goodness there. It pays to advertise. I'd like to move on to, one other thing I wanted to mention was the list of local supporters. So another one of the things that we offer to you is if you would like a list of supporters who are on our supporters list who live in your area, just send a note to admin at seniorsforclimate.org, and we will get a list created to send out to you. And that way you can let them know what is going on in your area. Okay, so that kind of wraps up the section on Canadian Environmental Week and the fall action, unless anybody has anything else they would like to add in there. Okay, I'm going to move on then into the, go ahead, Sheila.
Hi,
Oh, you just muted yourself again, Sheila.
oops, boy, that's very sensitive. I just put in the chat asking Tylene if she might be willing to share a summary of SCAN Edmonton's comprehensive plan. I'd like attending these meetings, I'm always aware that I'm to bring all of this back to my group, which is Eco Elders for Climate Action in Calgary. And there's only so much that I can write down in notes, and there's so many ideas that come. Would that be possible?
Really good idea.
Wonderful, because Tylene, you mentioned all the groups you're collaborating with, and we are starting to collaborate with other groups in Calgary, and like there's no need to reinvent the wheel. You've done such awesome work in Edmonton, so that would be great if that could be shared somehow. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll post that right away. And also, Sheila, I'll put my email address in too, because it would be great for us to work together in Alberta. I've been wanting to do that, and too many irons in the fire right now, but that would be a great way for us to get connected now, if you're interested.
Very interested. Thank you. You may have already reached out to me. 2 people have reached out from Edmonton, and I've just been kind of scrambling and haven't responded. Thanks.
Okay, so one of the really cool things, I know I've mentioned how wonderful it is to be able to see all the photos and videos of all these events in the past. And I'm very thankful for that. Thank you all for having done that. It has also provided us with all kinds of ways to advertise. The photos have gone into various presentations, some of our funding grants. People love them. The Bill McKibben webinar featured some of those photos as well, and I'm told that they're lovingly being tucked into the video editing process. So we're going to, pardon me, see those. that's kind of an introduction to the fact that we have so many wonderful artistic people who have contributed stuff. We've had songs. So Ann McAllister's here. She's given us 2 songs. We have songs from other people, and we posted, pardon me, posted them on our website. It's just so great to see what people have contributed. I'm just calling out right now Nancy Nickel, because a year ago, on April the 3rd, was the national or the international release of Nancy's film Later Is Too Late. So I made a point of watching it again myself. It still moves me. I sent a note to Nancy telling her that, because I want her to know that it's still very valued. So if you have Nancy's address and would like to send her a note telling her what you like about her film, or the fact that you appreciate it so much, I think it would be a wonderful gesture, because there are so many people out there who have contributed so much. And anyways, I thought it was important to mark the fact that this is a 1-year anniversary of Nancy's film. I also want to mention, I'll mention it again at next month's meeting, but May the 28th is the 2nd anniversary of Seniors for Climate. And so that has something that is coming up. We're asking for volunteers to step forward for both the organizing, support, and outreach teams. We've done that a few times in the past and haven't had, I'm not sure why my hand got raised, but we haven't really had much of a response. And so that is going to be going out on an e-blast. We're going to be asking our supporters if they would be interested in joining in and on those things. Unfortunately, we have had people step back for various reasons this year. And so we're not able to provide the same level of support that we have in previous years. And we would like to. So getting some additional volunteers is important to us. So 2 of the things I want to cover as well, we're getting into some detail here. Yeah, please go ahead, Ricky.
I just wanted to suggest that if people are willing to volunteer, it would be really great if they could let us know what they want to volunteer for, so we can find them the right slot. And you know, we need help with everything from staying in touch with people in your region to technical skills, to organizing knowledge, the whole gamut we can use. Communications, if you have media background, all kinds of things. So send us an email and tell us what you'd like to do, or how much time you can contribute. Thanks.
Thank you, Ricky. So I have to say that we had big plans. We wanted to be able to expand. We wanted to be able to reach out to more famous people and get them to offer support to us. We wanted to connect with other international seniors groups and kind of form a network with them. But that work's not going forward. And until we get some additional help, it's not likely to. I'm just going to share some other stuff here because there's other good stuff happening. So the Stephen Guilbeault webinar, the number of comments and questions that people submitted was quite spectacular. And just getting that much feedback from roughly 1,500 people registered for the Stephen Guilbeault webinar, and just under 1,000 actually attended. So getting that much input from people and what they're thinking and what they're feeling is wonderful. So we did some analysis of that feedback, and made up some social media posts that you can see at least on Facebook. I personally haven't checked the other socials that we run, but there's some very interesting insights. And we're doing the same thing with the, sorry, I'm just trying to advance. We're doing the same thing with the Bill McKibben. Again, we had nearly 1,500 registrations, over 750 people attended, and there were lots of questions and comments from people. And it provides a really valuable insight into things that we might want to take a look at, or the things that we might want to emphasize. Okay, now, at the last meeting, we had a small group of people who volunteered to take up the national petition. And so they have a report for us. And so, Lydia, I'm going to ask you if you would speak to the national petition. But just before I transfer over to you, this is what it's looking like right now. So, Lydia, could you speak to the petition?
Yes, gladly. So first of all, I want to thank and Luba and Barb. Luba Spring from Toronto and Barb Howard from Alberta worked with me, and we used Rob Hill's petition as our base. So we started with his petition and we worked on the wording, changed some things. And anyways, what you see there on the screen is the current petition. And we also want to thank the admin at Seniors for Climate because they have it translated into French now. So we have it in both official languages. What we did is not only the petition that you see there, but we reached out to 6 MPs because it's an e-petition and we need an MP to sponsor it to bring it to the House. The MP does not have to agree with the contents of the petition, but we need 1 MP to bring it forth. So out of the 6 MPs that we reached out to, only 3 responded, and it was their staff that responded, not the MP personally. Interestingly, the first response was from Quebec, from a Bloc Québécois MP, and they wanted to know if we had a chapter in Quebec because they seemed to be somewhat interested in bringing it forward. But as far as I know, we do not have a chapter in Quebec. The next MP's office that reached out to us was from BC. And then the third was from Ontario, from the Burlington area. So Victoria, BC, and Burlington, Ontario. And both of these MP offices said that their priority is to respond to constituents who reside within their own riding. And since it was me from Niagara-on-the-Lake sending out the email to these MPs, they said, well, you know, you're not really in our riding. So to bring this forward or to move it to the next level, we are suggesting that a member from Victoria, BC, reach out to Will Greaves, who is the MP for Victoria. He is a University of Victoria professor. He focuses on Arctic and climate policies, and I think he might be quite interested. And we also sent out to Karina Gould, who is Burlington, Ontario MP. And so if we have a member of Seniors for Climate in Burlington who would like to reach out to Karina, that would also move this petition forward. So we're asking for a volunteer who wants to work with us from Victoria and from Burlington, and then we can go to the next phase.
Thank you, Lydia. And just to clarify, you're talking about the electronic version of the petition,
Yes, yes,
but
this is
the
the
paper
e-petition.
version of the paper version of the petition will go forward regardless.
Correct.
Is there anyone from Victoria or Burlington? I'm not seeing anyone raised. Oh, Ricky?
Yeah, I can check. We're trying to organize a meeting with Will Greaves. I don't know how soon it's going to happen, but if I will put my email address in the chat and you can send me the stuff. And if we get a meeting, we can raise it with him. But he's not a terribly constituency responsive person on climate issues, I've found. But we'll try, and I'll see if there's anybody else in the group who has more direct contacts and ability to talk to him.
Okay, and I'll put my email in the chat as well if somebody wants to reach out.
Thank you very much, Lydia and Ricky, for stepping forward, and we'll see if we can find someone from Burlington. I have a number of quick updates here, and I know we're getting close to the hour, so I'd like to see if I can kind of rattle them off. So we did have the tactics workshop on March the 19th. The Jingles workshops, which we offered to our supporters, were actually quite well registered for, at least. We got close to 60 people signing up to come and write jingles. But when it got down to it, we had about 20 people who actually attended the initial Jingles workshop. They have split into groups. So there's a group in BC, there's a group in the Prairies, there's 2 groups in Ontario, and 1 group in Atlantic Canada that are going to be looking at writing jingles for in the next 2 weeks. So the jingles are due no later than the 25th of April. And this is a 10-second jingle so that we can use them in a radio ad. So we can get 15-second radio ads fairly inexpensively, and we're looking to experiment using these radio ads as a means of attracting supporters and new locations. So the jingle thing seems to be very popular amongst our broader supporter base. To get 60 people, I thought that was pretty good, and we'll see what the jingles they come out with are. I want to mention that the workshop this Thursday, how to talk about climate change. And we also had a request from our supporters to offer something similar. And this kind of fell into our lap. We found out that Reclimate was also doing a webinar on how to break the climate silence. We didn't think that we had enough time or the resources to put together a webinar to offer to our supporters. So the fact that Reclimate came along and is offering this, and we are boosting that to our supporters as a means of them finding out how to talk about climate. And I will stick the registration in the chat. And one of the things that we're trying to emphasize amongst our supporter base is that everyone can be an organizer. And can I walk and chew gum at the same time?
Doubt it.
Get this to the chat. So I'm just posting into the chat now the registration for the Reclimate webinar, which is on April the 23rd. So we are trying to emphasize with our supporters that anyone can be an organizer. It only takes one to get something going. And we're hoping to be able to attract more locations that way. Dylan has spoken about the traditional media workshop. And again, if you have anything that you are interested in, if there is anything that you are interested in seeing in that workshop, or if you have an idea of when you would like it held, please put that in the chat. I will add one other thing about the climate conversations that you do have. Would you please keep track of them? We are going to put a form, make a form available to try to track how many conversations that we have leading up to and through the fall action, just so that we can say, you know, Seniors for Climate, we had 10,000 climate conversations, and get the ball moving. So we, I think there was talk about having a presentation available to introduce Seniors for Climate, and we did have one. It was out of date, and it has since been updated. So if any of you are asked to do a presentation about Seniors for Climate in your community, we do have a basic one available that you can use and add in local information. And the last thing, I know I'm just blathering on here because there's a lot to communicate, but there's only one more item. Yeah, please go ahead, Pat.
Sorry, just wanted to say that this presentation that's available, there's a bunch of slides you can choose from, different pages you can choose from, so you can customize your presentation, but it has sort of the same look, so it'll have the same look across the country, but you can certainly pick and choose what you include and include some of your own slides as well. So it's really quite flexible and fairly easy to do and can be done on, what's the Google presentation? There's a Google presentation thing. It's PowerPoint with Microsoft, but there is a Google one as well that if you needed to change sheets, you could do that, or you could talk to Eric and he can work his magic. So there's things to do for these presentations. If you're asked, you can certainly get them and customize it for what you want to, how you want to deal with your community presentation. Okay.
Thank you, Pat. Go ahead, Penny.
I thought that the intro that Louise did prior to the Bill McKibben seminar, or webinar, I should say, was really well done. I would love to have a copy of that for a presentation, or if that could go on the website as to be used for a presentation on Seniors for Climate.
I think that can be arranged.
Okay.
Thanks, Penny. One last thing. So we have been looking at getting some some creative gifts from people, and we ran into an issue where we were going to have to basically go back to the creator and ask repeatedly if we wanted to use what they had provided us with, which would place a fairly significant burden on us to have to remember to do that, but also to go through and do that. So as a result of that, we have created a creative gifts release. I understand that some groups use something similar to this already when they have people in videos, or if they're being asked to be included in photos. But it basically says that we are going to be using this particular gift that you're giving us. So I just want to make sure that people are aware that's available. It will be posted somewhere on the website in future. I'm just not sure right now the exact timing on it. And that takes us to the end of the agenda, unless there's anything else that anybody else would like to introduce. Any feedback would be great. Go ahead, Eric. Is that Eric or is that Letitia? Oh,
Oh, sorry, David. I'm here now. I raised my hand and then my Zoom froze.
okay.
So my apologies for the delay there. I was just going to add in that I saw some nice comments saying they would like a version of the poster with a QR code, and that had a lot of thumbs up. So I'm thinking if that many people want it, then I will add that to the toolkit, a version of the poster which has a QR code linking to the Seniors for Climate website specifically.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Go ahead, Sheila.
Yes, the Seniors for Climate presentation and slides that was just mentioned, is it available on the website or how do we get it?
We'll find out some way of making it available to you. I'll probably get a link included in the follow-up note to this meeting for people. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So if there's nothing else, I just want to say, oh, Dylan, did you have?
Yeah, just quickly on that, I was going to throw it in the chat, but my computer's acting up. Louise's great presentation is already on the website if you just go to the bottom of the campaigns page.
Thank you.
The campaigns page? Yeah. Thank you, Dylan. Okay, so thanks to all of you for attending. And I just want to remind you, we have so many things, so many good conversations that we could have, because there are actually very positive stories going on in the world. And if you're able to touch people's heart and show them that there is something workable and affordable, they're more likely to get involved. So again, thank you all for attending tonight. And again, we'll be having the after chat for 15 minutes. If anyone would like to stay around, please feel free.